Mr. Briley, we're ready whenever you guys
Very
are.
good. All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Board of Adjustment, November 17th, 2020. Making a motion to get it in order here.
Make a motion to call for it.
Mr. Pierce, Mr. Miller on the second. There we go. All right. So let's go through the agenda. Any issues with the agenda? I don't know if there's anything specific other than what we had the last time on here that's new, right? Other than the minutes.
Yep. Just gonna
Get a motion of approval of the agenda. Mr. Pierce and Mr. Miller second. And then the minutes, I don't know if you want to go through anything on the minutes from October, Brian. Is there anything there?
No, there's nothing. I mean, you guys had them in your agenda packet. I hope upon your review, if you got any questions, I'll be happy to answer any.
Okay. All right. Anything on the agenda from the minutes? Because we really didn't have a formal meeting, I think. It was
Right,
more of
right.
a-
And it was just kind of going to give the same exact presentations in those minutes, just like we did.
All righty. Do we need approval of minutes from October?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a motion to approve? Mr. Reynolds, second. Mr. Pierce. Approved. All in favor? Aye. All right. So new business, we had a variance application for 403 Castleford Drive regarding side yard setbacks. So do we need to get,
Yeah, we'll do some swearing in real quick of anybody that's going to testify. So.
okay.
I'm just going to place it up there just for restriction purposes, and then you just place your hand and say, I state your name,
I, Will Coon,
you swear,
do swear
and then I'm about to testify to you.
everything I'm about to testify to
Is the truth.
is the truth.
Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Okay. So, as you guys know, a zoning variance just gives an owner permission to do something that's contrary to the requirements of the zoning ordinance. In this case, the applicant, Will Coon Homes, is asking for a variance from the 10-foot side setback requirement. They're asking to go to an 8-foot side setback. So just some standard procedural stuff. We did post this notice on the site October 5th. And those adjacent property owners were mailed notification on the same day, October 5th. Notice of the hearing was published in the Daily Reflector on October 7th and October 14th. Now that original date was for October 20th. However, we did not have enough members to take action on it. So at that meeting, we did table it until this meeting, November 17th, which is statutorily that was enough of a publication. And that was because of a lack of voting members. So you see here, I've got I wish I had for whatever reason, PowerPoint is not working on this, so it's just a static picture, but you can see here, the lot is outlined in red, and it's kind of, you can see the footprint with all this represents the riparian buffer along that stream, so that's non-buildable area. This yellow line is the front setback line, and so you can see there's a very small window or building envelope in there, which is the reason the applicant is requesting the variance. Let's see here. Just another look at that. So the zoning district is R10. So you can see in our table of permitted uses, we always go and look for the dimensional requirements, 25 foot, 10 foot on the side setback, which is what we're asking, or what the applicant's asking a variance from, and then 20 on the rear. I'll read this just for procedural purposes. The variance is to authorize upon appeal in specific cases such variance from the terms of the ordinance as will not be contrary to the public interest where, owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of this ordinance will, in an individual case, result in the practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship, so that the spirit of the ordinance shall be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. Such variance may be granted in such individual case of an unnecessary hardship where the Board of Adjustments makes the following affirmative findings. So we'll do just like Mr. Chairman, we'll do just like we do in the conditional use permit. We'll go through each one and find in the affirmative. But before that, I'll let you guys ask any questions of me or the applicant, and I'll show, he's brought some renderings of what they're trying to do. But I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
So, I did have a question. I know we talked about, is this the layout that you talked about?
Yes, that was the one, yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll try to zoom in a little bit on it so you can see a little bit better. So you can see he's called out the side setbacks here. There's your front setback here, and then the riparian buffer on the back. So it's squeezed in about as tight as you're going to get.
It took us a long time to find a plan that would fit in there too.
Any questions from the,
How, the drainage, what kind of contours how deep is it? And how much water, did you get a lot of water from this last rain?
I didn't go back there and check. You know, you're talking about the buck back there in the ditch. I haven't been back there to see, but you know, we have down the right is the retention pond, and then there's another one around the circle to the left-hand side. But we have houses all dotting right there, and we didn't hear any problems from them.
Yeah, so the retention pond is going to be right there, and your main carrier water is obviously the channel behind here, and that does fill up. That was carrying a lot of water in this one. This one did, from what I understand, did not breach its banks during that last rain. So I don't, whatever that's worth. But that was a lot of rain that fell. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I don't know what the total was, but I think it was somewhere around 5 inches in that 24-hour period. That's a lot of rain.
It's a good lot, you know. Except for the fact that it's a lot wise. It's not a low lot. It sits high on the property. It's a good, you know, except for being as narrow, it's a good building lot when we look at it from the topography.
Yeah, no.
and it's 50 feet from, I guess, the drainage ditch, is that right? Is that kind of the overflow where it starts? Is that how that works, the 50 feet that you have there?
So the 50-foot is a riparian buffer. That's for the blue line stream. So that starts at the general rule of thumb is at the top of the bank. Is a more technical difficulty when you talk about mean high vegetation line on the thing, but for general rule is top of the bank landward. So they just can't put any impervious surface in there. They can fence it in for a backyard, but the ultimate goal for that is for water to sheet flow into it. So I was just going to try to pull up an aerial to show you kind of.
Where's this subdivision located at?
It's the corner of Old Tar and Lori Ellis. And I'll show you right here. Shoot, I don't want to do that. Why is it doing this? What was the address on this? 403. Of course, it's not going to work. Come on. I just want to kind of show you that whole side yard over there is going to be open land. It's just unbuildable.
What was that to the left of that drainage? It's something about the, Neuse River,
That's the Neuse River riparian buffer rules. That's what that buffer is. That 50-foot buffer is technically called the Neuse River Basin riparian buffer rule. So that's what the state legislative, or the state statutes dictate, has to have a 50-foot swath in there for that sheet flow. So you can see,
Well, is this water shed in, area, is that gonna be local government controlled, or that's not gonna fall in any federal, wetlands?
no, I don't think there's any mapped wetlands back there. So the subdivision is actually geared to shed water out into the road, into the storm drains, and then into this storm pond over here. And then it'll actually outfall into that stream, but it'll do so at a decreased rate. So per the North Carolina stormwater regulations, they got to go through that stormwater pond before it actually leaves the site. Now, obviously, some of it's going to leave the site back here, but for the majority of it, it's going to come out here, go into the storm drain, come down here, and then it'll release out, and it'll be quote unquote treated water. And it'll be a slower rate. So I think in this case, you're looking at this lot here, but you're looking, I wish we had the lines on the Google image, but all this over here is going to be open space. So you're looking at a pervious lot over here that would otherwise be built upon. So you're actually kind of reducing the site itself. So in essence, not to be an engineer or anything, I would argue that it would probably lessen the stormwater runoff on this, because you are fitting into such a tight space. So you would potentially, on any other lot, you could go setback to setback, so you could have that impervious surface that would be shedding off more water, which would cause obviously an addition to the stormwater runoff. So
Yeah, and this footprint of this house is smaller than our usual footprints out there.
What's square foot?
I think it's like 1,800, the minimum's like 1,600. We're basically just trying to use the lot up, get something on there so that the homeowners down there just have a open field right there.
yeah, and you can see all this, even minus.
So that lot is sloping from the back to the street? Is that the drainage you're talking about, picking that water up off the lot?
Yeah, so and that's the way the subdivisions are designed to hit that stormwater infrastructure. So
You have gutters on the street?
there's storm drains out there, yes, sir.
Okay.
But you can see, obviously you got all this is, even though it's wrapped up in easement and buffer, it's going to be, grassed area. So you've got a good chunk of space over here. It's not ever going to be able to be used for any type of impervious surface.
And on those, in that subdivision, we sod all the landscaping when we're done. So it's not like after we finish and pull away and you get a rain like we had the other day, you get a lot of dirt washing to the street. We sod everything to prevent that problem from happening in the initial stage. That one's going to be an expensive one.
Any other questions? I'm sorry.
On that, I didn't bring a copy with me, but when I looked at it on the computer, it had a yellow line where on your 8 foot going around this circle to the next lot.
Right. Well, so I was trying to just display that. That's about in that note, this is not the scale. This was just a representation of the minimum building line for the front line. So it's more just, this is just an illustration of trying to show you just how tight that lot is. So with the buffer and this doesn't even have the 10 foot on the side. So you would actually even pull 10 foot here, and that building envelope is just small. Obviously you can see it a lot better with the survey.
So the lot to the right will have a 10 foot setback.
So yes, sir. So yeah, they'll be 10 foot here, and I'm not exactly sure how far they are off the lot line. I will note that I didn't get any negative feedback from anybody in the neighborhood. Most of it was making sure it was going to stay residential. I think I had 3 calls, and I told them it was going to be residential, and they didn't have any opposition to it.
And we've built all the other houses in that subdivision.
That's the yellow line you were talking about, Mr. Reynolds? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
That one right there, yeah. Yeah, it was just more of an illustration purpose for that.
Miller, any questions? Okay, Mr. Pierce? No. All right, so, we gotta go down here and gotta get an affirmative on each one of these, 5 here, as well as the B and C, correct?
That's right, yep.
So we'll start out, with this, is, there are practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the ordinance. So the ordinance being exactly being the side yard setback, right?
Mhm.
So with that in mind, with the first one, if he complies with the provisions of the ordinance, the property owner can secure no reasonable return from or make no reasonable use of his property. Either affirmative or not on this one, based on the information you guys have. We need each one of you to. Okay, we got one affirmative, all 4. First one carried.
So, yep, unanimous approval.
Those in the form of a motion and then a vote.
Yeah, let's,
We can do that, so, all in favor of number 1? Motion, we need a motion first.
Yeah, need a
Yes,
motion
for
and then a
vote
vote.
first.
Yeah.
Motion to approve number 1. Mr. Pierce, second. Mr. Reynolds, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, sorry. We gotta get back into it. We don't mean.
oh, yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's go through the second one. The hardship results from the application of the ordinance. A motion to vote on this one, yea or nay?
So motion to vote on number 2.
Mr. Pierce, Mr. Miller, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Everybody was unanimous. Second was approved. Number 3, the hardship is suffered by the applicant's property. Any motion? Mr. Reynolds? Second. Mr. Pierce, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Number 3 carries. Number 4, the hardship is not a result of the applicant's own actions. Make a motion for Mr. Pierce. Mr. Miller, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous vote. And number 5, the hardship is peculiar to the applicant's property. Motion. Mr. Reynolds, second. Mr. Pierce, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Approved. The variance is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance, and it preserves its spirit. Get a motion to vote on this motion. Mr. Pierce, Mr. Reynolds, all in favor? Aye. In granting the variance of the public safety and welfare have been assured and substantial justice has been done. Motion to vote. Mr. Pierce, Mr. Reynolds, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. We're good there, all right? So
Awesome.
Variance approved?
Yeah, so with the affirmative findings on all the requirements, the variance is passed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good evening.
Brian, anything else that you have for us?
I do not have anything. I know there says reports from staff, but I really don't have anything other than we talked about the zoning ordinance amendments going. They are going to the board, to town council in December, so that'll be a couple weeks from now. Other than that, hope to have some new members appointed at that time. Well, I don't know if we've advertised for volunteers to be sending their applications in, so hopefully we'll have some members to be appointed, and possibly once we get that done, be doing some just some training sessions. I'll probably update our board manual and get you guys fresh copies of that. But other than that, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys being in attendance. This was a pretty quick one, so anything from you?
No. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Reynolds, Pierce, second. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.